shout out to one of our sponsors, Co Space and Clubhouse. As you guys know, we did the Luminary Panel Season 1 on Zoom, and so we were looking for a podcast studio to film. And now here I am in Co Space and Clubhouse, and here they have multiple rooms, one being the lounge, a conference room, and a podcast studio. They serve many different beverages, including tea, coffee, and kava, and their main mission is to be a place where people can come together and work together. So if you can, stop by. It's right outside of downtown Orlando, and it's a great place to work and meet others. Hope you try it.
All right, welcome back to another episode of the Luminary Panel. I know you've been getting a ton of value from our episodes. Make sure you subscribe and follow us on social media so that you don't miss a beat with what we have going on. But this episode is very special because this is the episode that allowed me to grow as fast as I have. And a year ago, before we started the Luminary Panel, was when I just started out as an idea. And from that point forward, I was like, hey, I need to meet people. And this is, again, a year ago, and I've never done networking in my life. But I was always a people's person. So I don't know. Don't judge me, okay? But anyway, this one's for the beginners. This one's for the introverts that want to go meet new people and becoming a inspiration to other circles or get into other circles as an influence. This one is about networking. Now, networking has a bad rep if you're not doing it right. I know a lot of people that do networking the right way. So the goal of networking is to be an effective, immediate resource. That's one thing. And also build effective relationships. Now, when I say relationships, I'm not saying boyfriend, girlfriend. I'm saying relationships that's beneficial to you and the other person. But it's an inverse. You want to be more valuable to the person than you gaining or seeking any validation or anything to what you're doing. Yes, that's very important. And yes, we're about to go through a whole framework on how to be more effective as a networker. Okay. So long story short, I created a framework called STAR. Yes, STAR. And if I'm looking down, I'm looking at my iPad. Okay. I'm not going to be one of those people that act like I'm saying everything verbatim, but I'm an iPad guy. So when you think about networking, we always think about like the one forbidden question everybody likes to hear. Everybody likes to know, what do you do? How boring is that? Right? Yes. Yeah, I do this, I do that. And then after that, what happens? Cool. See you later. Right? But what if you change the perspective of networking? What if you were to be the person to ask meaningful questions that provoke meaningful conversation? Right? That's the whole premise of networking. I'm going to give you a cheat code, and I can literally end the podcast with this simple statement. If you ask and want more information about the person and allow them to talk more about themselves, inevitably you will be liked amongst the people that you connect with. That's a real law. Like, if you think about it, everybody loves talking about themselves, right? So why not play on that role? At the Luminary Panel, our mission is to become an immediate resource to you as the aspiring entrepreneur. With that being said, we've partnered with SCG, Shamaa Consultant Group, the business development one-stop shop. They have everything you need as far as marketing, benchmarking, and so much more, so that we, as the Luminary Panel and SCG, can help you thrive in your business. So the STAR framework is simply start, talk, attend, and refer. Okay. So if you do these simple 4 steps, it's going to grow your relationship building to the next level. And it's going to grow the business that you are in currently. Now, obviously people want to pitch themselves, allow them, let them do it. Okay. Now this is going to take a ton of humility. You have to be humble. You have to be an active listener. You have to be very attentive, which is the A in STAR, so that you make them feel good when they talk to you. Every time they talk to you, they're going to remember how much you were respecting what they did and also ask the right questions so they can open up emotionally. Okay. Now, this is $1 million worth of game, and it seems so simple, but a lot of people need frameworks like me. I was like, in the beginning when I was starting to, network and stuff, I was like, yo, how can I be more relatable? I have this idea. I think it's a great idea. People want to hear about the idea, but how can I make my presence felt by connecting with them on a deeper level? Excuse me. I had coffee. When I have coffee, I burp a lot. Sorry. But neither here nor there. Let's get into it. Okay. Where do we start? All right, let's get into this part, right? Everyone that's networking never adjusts to their environment, right? They stick with what they think is right and what is comfortable. Going back to the question, what do you do, right? Yes, that's effective, but not efficient. Because the goal is to build a great relationship, not just a good relationship. You never want to leave a networking event acting as if like, okay, I said enough for them to like me, right? You want to be likable in this mission because, again, if you want to make more money, you got to be likable in your respective area. Maybe this is, for example, I'm in Orlando, Florida. Orlando is very big, but also very small. So if you know the right people, they will connect you to the right people, and then they will connect you to the right people, right? So you got to adjust to your environment. So, for example, if we're in let's say, an office setting, right? You don't want to be the loud, obnoxious person that is just like annoying. Or if you're at a bar, that's where you become a little bit louder because it's loud. It's a loud environment. It's a lot of people around and all that stuff, right? Okay, everyone that is looking to build meaningful relationship, take up the perspective of the person. I'll re-say that. Everyone that is looking to build meaningful relationships, take up the perspective of the person they are conversing with and can put themselves in the shoes no matter what the profession. So, for example, I'm in podcasting and also I'm a business consultant. If there's somebody in construction that I would love to connect with, and they probably have the biggest construction firm in the world, I have to be relatable, right? I have no clue on how to lay pavement. I have no clue on how to build a building, but I do have a clue on how to connect with them. I'll tell you shortly on how I do it. Okay. Now execute your plan by being a star, be a superstar. Okay. When you think about the star, what makes a star is how personable they are and relatable they are to the other person. Your job as a star isn't to collect the most business cards, the most contacts. It's to make a memorable handshake. How do you become a memorable handshake or become a memorable person out of all the people at a networking event that you meet? Side note, you do not have to meet every person there because every person there isn't going to fit you. It's not going to fit you, right? First thing you got to look for is synergy. And the only way you find synergy is by having a conversation, right? Having a meaningful conversation that actually suits you, obviously in the long run, but more so suits them, right? You got to think about it like this. Would you hang out with this person outside of a professional environment? And the only way you do that is by having a conversation, find a relatable meaning, to find the things that you can connect on, right? So, S. Okay, now we're about to break it down into the format. S, start. Okay, begin the conversation confidently and with a warm greeting, right? So I'm going to name a few, okay? State your first and last name with the hand presented for them to shake. Okay, give them something that they have to reach out to, right? So, for example, if I want to meet somebody, say, you can literally just say your name. right? Because again, you're in the space of networking. So they're already mentally ready to meet you, but you have to be presentable enough for them to want to meet you. Ugh, that's some good stuff, right? All right. So give a handshake. Okay. Second point out material item that you could resonate with just to open the conversation. Transition into a more meaningful conversation. So for example, I love this tactic because it breaks the barrier of nervousness. So for example, I love a great outfit. So I say, yo, where did you get this jacket from? Like, I could not find myself wearing it, but it looks great on you. Oh man, I found it here. I found it there. Oh, I love that store. That store is one of the best stores I ever been to because I love the quality of the clothing. Oh, where did you get it from? Oh, I got it from the Florida Mall. You see how it spirals into a bigger conversation just based off of one material. So you can either start with a handshake. Hey, my name is Chonsten Jennings. Or you can walk up to them like, yo, I love that jacket. I love those shoes. I love your earrings. I love your hair. How'd you, boom. I can end the conversation here. I can end the podcast right here, right? You can tell I'm having fun now. Okay. Or you can start with a question. Pretty simple, but not the basic generic question. It has to be unique. You can start off saying, hey guys, I've been going through so much right now. I really have a question for you guys. If I'm in this particular thing, blah, 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 how do I get out of it? Boom. Allow them to be the center of attention. You know why? Because people love to sound right or be right. So why not play on that perspective? Okay. Okay. The goal is for them to let down their guard so they are comfortable to talk about things that often you don't hear in a business setting. I'm infamous for getting people to talk about their personal lives, not in a weird way, but talk about their personal lives to the point where they feel like they're in a therapy session. Right? Which brings me to the second point. T. Talk. Engaging meaningful dialogue by asking open-ended questions and sharing your own experience. Okay. So now this is where we expand on a point that we just talked about. So for example, let's say it's kids. I have a daughter, right? They may have a kid and daughter. I'm like, oh my gosh, man. How was it for you when your daughter approached 2? Jocelyn just turned 2. You guys have seen her on my social media page. Jocelyn just turned 2, so that's a relatable point. How was it for you? And everybody has this stigma of saying 2s are your, the terrible 2s, and they go and explore and they become they have tantrums and this and that, right? Cool. And then I'm like, yeah, bro, I've never actually, I was blessed. Jocelyn doesn't give me, excuse me. Jocelyn has never gave me an issue. Like, this is what I've done to do this and to offset. How do you feel about that? Then there's another open-ended question. Now, what's really cool about this tactic is there's a framework around making them talk more about themselves. So after a person asks, let's say I ask them a question like, hey, how's your daughter? Or how old is your daughter? This and that. Oh, what about you? I want to hear more about you. I'll say, I give them a little bit of information, and then I ask them another question to open up a dialogue about themselves again. Right. So it's going to bring me to the point. Look for opportunities to create conversational threads. Look for opportunities to create conversational threads, which means giving more substance when answering a question, and look for cues to grab on those threads, to dig deeper, to learn about who you are talking to. Prime example. I'll just use my daughter, for example, since we're on the topic, right? So Jocelyn is 2. Their daughter is 2. How can we find the conversational threads to open up more dialogue? Hey, do you want more kids? Same thing. Yeah, I want more kids, man, my wife. And, oh, tell me more about your wife. She seems like an awesome person to be dating you or married to you. And then that becomes a laughable thing. Again, breaking off the barriers, right? Okay. Find cues. You got to be active. That's why active listening is so important. Okay. Okay. Use the follow-up questions like, how did that make you feel? Tugging on their emotions. What would you have done differently? Tugging on their emotions, or making them go back into a state of fixing what they feel like wasn't, I guess, applicable for the moment. How will you approach that next time? Is a great question, because it now allows them to look in the past, but also look towards the future. Now that becomes more meaningful in the conversation. Okay. Now, this one's probably the most important out of all of them. Okay. But attend. Okay. Pay close attention to the other person, showing genuine interest in what they're saying while watching body language. That will give you questions of what to touch on more of when asking follow-up questions. So when we did the workshop on this, I actually brought somebody up, right? Never met the guy. Now him and I are like really, really, really close friends and partners on the business side. His name is Eli Santana. So I just met him. I've seen him a few times, and I picked him strategically because he's a very, very business oriented person, but also I could tell he had a personal side that's very open and vibrant and cool. Right. So I brought him up. I was like, hey, I started to break down the barriers. Started with talk, and then attend. So what I started with was, yo, are you into sports? Like, he was like, yeah, man. I said, what's your favorite sport? He said, soccer. Oh, cool. And then at the beginning, his arms were closed off, right? A lot of times in body language, that means they're kind of like closed off, but I don't think he was closed off in a way where he didn't want to talk. He just was very preservative of what the conversation could be like, right? So we started talking about one of the favorite things, sports. One of the favorite sports teams, Orlando City Soccer. And he started to open up, and then he started to speak up a lot faster, right? His body language started to open up. So what that means is that's a point that we can relate on. Hey, I've never done soccer, but I love basketball. I was a basketball trainer at one point. Oh, I love the match. I used to have season tickets. Again, because his body language opened up, we're going to keep touching on those things, right? And then based off the conversation, I can pull out different things, right? This framework not only is a great framework for networking, but also you become a stronger conversationalist, right? So you can pick up any point, anywhere, no matter where, even if you're just at a coffee shop, you just want to talk to the next person. Yes, it's networking, but also you probably don't even want to talk about business, right? Especially if you're a hungry entrepreneur, that's all you're doing. You're just business. You come in.
Sorry.
No, you're good. I can just edit this stuff out.
Okay. Here you go.
Perfect. You're the best.
I got you.
So just as important as you watch their body language, you have to be conscious and aware of your own. So which means as they're talking about some personal points, even if it's family, even if it's not that deep, you have to be attentive to your own body language. So as they're talking, what I like to do is I like to smile. I like to nod as I actively listen. And if it's something surprising, I'm like, no way. You got to be interested. You can't be still faced. You can't be. Oh, wow. That's cool. Nice. Because it seems like you don't want to hear what they're talking about. You just want to get off your chest of what you do and how you can add value. I've encountered so many people and I cut the conversation short. Not to be rude, but because I know their intentions aren't genuine. You always want to have genuine intentions. Okay. So exuding the body language of interest, exaggerating of expressions. So even if it's not a big deal and they start to laugh, you got to laugh with them, even if it's a fake laugh, but it has to come genuinely, right? Fill out the mood, the energy of it. Okay. Wow. Are you serious? I can't believe that happened to you. That's incredible. right? Now think about it. As you exude the information or exude that body language, they're going to receive it as if you're actually interested about what they're talking about. Okay. Okay. Refer. That's the R and star. Okay. We talked about start, talk, attend. Now we're talking about refer. Now this is going to be your way out of a conversation and in a conversation. Okay. Refer. During the conversation, find opportunities to refer or connect the person with others who may be mutually beneficial to them. So, for example, I have a friend named Caleb, and this is who I did the workshop with, right? And he's a master networker. I always call him the mayor of Orlando, right? Because he knows every single person you need to know. Okay? Okay, look. If him and I are in a him and I are at the same event, I'm like, hey, I'll be talking to a particular person. Hey, have you met Caleb? He's one of the best person you need to go get. He's one of the best persons you need to get to know because of the things that you're doing, and he's gonna refer you to more people that can help you grow. I would love to make the connection. Oh, he's actually right here. Hey, Caleb, what's up, man? How you doing? Good to see you. I have my new friend John. John does this. I was just telling him how you're the mayor of Orlando. And because I made that joke, we all start to laugh and it becomes a barrier for not only the person I've been talking to for the past couple minutes, but the new connection I made with Caleb and the new guy. Right? Laughing is always going to be a barrier breaker. You could break every barrier by making someone laugh because that's a vulnerable state. Just like crying is a vulnerable state. Laughing is a vulnerable state because you actually intentionally think it's funny. And again, it goes back to you caring more about other people, right? I pride myself in being funny because I want to see other people laugh, not because for my own. It makes me feel good to make other people laugh. So think about it like this. If you're making somebody else laugh that you just met, that means they feel comfortable enough to laugh with you, right? You don't hang out with your best friend and you guys never laugh. Think about it. It's just an experience where you guys just have a great time, right? Okay. So refer, become an immediate resource. You have to be attentive when you listen, right? Because think about it like this. You're a construction guy. You need more employees. I have Caleb. He knows a lot of people that may know other people that can help you find employees. So because me making that immediate connection, it instantly brings not only me credibility, but Caleb credibility because he knows the people that's going to help John or you. Okay. Take mental notes as you are in the midst of the conversation. And when you have the opportunity to mention someone that they could make, that's a bomb right there. Okay. So let's go back through it. Okay. Start. Handshake, question. Nice to meet you. I love to hear more about you. And I love the haircut or whatever it is. Just be creative. Don't be generic. Don't be lame. Be fun. Have fun with it. Like one thing I realized, and this is probably offset, but when I started this thing, I was like, yo, I feel like I have to be a certain way so people can see me in a certain light. And my mentor, Iman, which is now a partner and also a sponsor of the Luminary Panel with SCG and Co Space, shout out to them. He was like, no, bro, be your authentic self. Be yourself. You don't have to show up as somebody else that's not going to authentically come off as genuine. You have to be yourself. And the more you're genuine and authentic, the more people are going to be attracted to you and what you're doing. Yo, that blew my mind. Ever since then, I have not overthought about making content. I've never thought about approaching someone. I never overthought about making a business deal. I never overthought making connections so that we can make more money. I never thought about it because I'm showing up as myself. You're either going to take it or leave it. Period. Maybe that's selfish. Maybe you feel like that's unprofessional. But for me, it works. If it works for me and I built something so phenomenal where I have like the founder of Orlando City Soccer. I got people that own multiple businesses. They make $1 million a month or plus. Like those people that are seen oh, this is so good. Those type of people want to feel just as regular as you do. So you think about, yo, this is going on tap, but I feel like I need to say it. People that are very successful rarely have the opportunity to take their mask off. You know why? Only when they're at home. So think about all the celebrities that you know, and the celebrities that have, you know, killed themselves. Sorry, like, God rest their soul. But those people are stressed because they constantly had that mask on, which messes up their mentality. They become so wrapped up into pleasing other people, they forget to make sure that they're they are, you know, in a state of just pleasing, right? So, yes. So be genuine. So start, talk, attend, and refer. Now, I'm going to be bringing so much more value into these other episodes. Hopefully, I know for a fact that you're going to use this framework in every conversation that you have. Remember, be authentic to yourself, be genuine, have fun, laugh, and be relatable. That's the main points I want you to get out of this conversation. Okay? So use this framework, share it to somebody that may need it. Chonsten Jennings. Make sure you follow us on social media, The Luminary Panel. Make sure you follow me on social media, Chonsten Jennings. And guess what? We out again. Peace.